Folks, I've got to get some lettuce planted. Normally I would like to have already had lettuce in the ground and about halfway along, but we had such a late summer, couldn't really start any in the greenhouse till it cooled down a little bit, because that lettuce just won't germinate in those really hot soil temps. So I finally got some started in the seed trays, and I've got some ready to go in the ground today. So we're going to plant some lettuce, and we're going to plant a lot of it. If this is your first time on our channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button below and that bell button so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. If you're a frequent viewer of our channel, it's always good to have you back. So here are our lettuce transplants that we've got to get in the ground today. We've got 6 different varieties here, a flat of each. And these look absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to get these in the ground. Let's go through what we have here. We've got this first tray here, which is a green Butterhead. This is a variety called Harmony. And all of these are varieties for which we have pelleted seeds for. So they're really easy to singulate and plant in the seed trays. The second one we have here is a variety called Cherokee. This is a red lettuce. Really good heat tolerant lettuce, but it should do well for us this time of year as well. Then we've got this variety of kind of spring crisp lettuce, and this one is called Starfighter. Nice little green lettuce with in-sized leaves there. Then we've got some red Butterhead. This is a variety called Skyphos, and I've been growing this probably longer than any of these varieties here. One of my go-to lettuce varieties. I really like this one. Just tastes amazing, and just has a really nice kind of silky leaf on it. Really good for sandwiches and salads. Then we've got a romaine here. This is a variety called Coastal Star. Everybody loves romaine lettuce. Make that great BLT with some good fresh romaine lettuce from the garden. And then we've got one more spring crisp variety here, and this is called Tehama. And it'll be my first year growing this one. But if the transplants are any indication, I think we're really going to like it. So now let's go over here and talk about where we're going to be planting all this lettuce. So over here is where we had our fall sweet corn. We had our peaches and cream sweet corn that did just okay. We got a decent harvest, nothing that'll blow your mind. And we had that corn on drip tape. You can see I've got the drip tape pulled up right there. So what we did after we harvested all this corn is I came in here with my lawnmower and I just mowed those stalks down. And then after I mowed them, because I didn't want all that crop debris left in there, considering the fact that I was about to come in and plant something right behind it. If I was going to leave the area, I would have left that crop debris, but I wanted to kind of clean it up. So I raked all of that corn debris over to the side there, get it relatively cleaned up. I still got a little bit in the soil there. It shouldn't be a huge issue. So once I mowed those stalks and kind of raked out some of that debris, I was able just to yank that drip tape right up. So you can see here, we left it connected at the main line. And we just ripped up that tape and then kind of piled it up here on the other side of the main line. So we've got all 7 rows of tape here. And a lot of people always ask, can you reuse the tape? How do you reuse it? And this is how we reuse it. We don't fold it up and store it. We'll just pull it up, pull it back, cultivate the area, and put it right back down and plant something else. So after I had the tape pulled up, I put some compost down there, tilled it in good, and we'll be ready to put that tape back down and plant some lettuce. The way I'm going to put this tape back down is I'm going to bury it just like I normally would with my drip tape layer. I'm going to take my double wheel hoe with the plows in the furrowing position, and I'm going to get lined up right where that row start is and look down there and drive me a straight line to make me a furrow. And then I'm going to unfold that tape, making sure I still have the emitters facing upwards in that furrow there. So lay it down in that furrow, and then I'm just going to cover it up probably with my high arch, because I've got some healing plows set up on those, and we'll cover it up, bury that tape, and then we'll be ready to plant some lettuce. So let me go get my wheel hoe and we'll get started here. All right. So we got those furrows made. We got our tape laid down in it. We got our emitters facing upwards. And it just happened to work out really well because we do corn on a 3-foot row spacing, and we're going to do lettuce, double rows of lettuce on a 3-foot row spacing. So, you know, it's great when you can reuse your tape like this. All you got to do is pull it up, put it back down. Makes it really easy. Now before we use our high arch wheel hoe with the plow set on the heeling position to zip up these furrows and bury that tape, I want to show you a little trick that you want to make sure you do. So if you'll notice down here, well, this tape is flat and not inflated. See, that's kind of bent up there. It's hard to pull it real tight. Now when you're using the drip tape layer attachment and putting it down for the first time, that spool is keeping it tight, but when you're just pulling it out by hand here, it's hard to keep it tight. So what you want to do is, I'm going to come over here, and I've got valves. I've got a valve running to this plot and a valve running to my onion plot over here. And so I had this plot cut off while I was watering my onions the last few days, but we're going to cut it back on here and let that tape expand. I can turn it the right way. And once that tape fills with water and expands, it'll stretch on out, and then you don't have to worry about it turning over or flipping when you're covering it with the high arch or the double wheel hoe or whatever you're using to cover it up with. So turn the tape on, let it expand and stretch out, and then zip them up like I'll show you right now. Alright, so now we're ready to plant some lettuce. We've got our drip tape buried here. Our plows on our high arch wheel hoe give us 2 little furrows here to do a double row, which is what we're going to do. Now you could plant these in a single row right on top of the emitters if you wish. The double row just allows me to get more per row to kind of maximize the space in my garden here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plant a row here and a row here. And this one line of drip tape will feed both rows really nicely. And once those lettuce plants grow up, they'll shade out this area, and we won't have to worry about any weed pressure right here. So how do you know when lettuce plants are ready to go in the ground? Well, when they pull right out of the tray, just like that. We got a nice little plug there, and those guys are ready to grow in the ground. Now, when I'm planting these, you could plant them, like I said, on a single row. You could put them right on top of the emitters on a 12-inch spacing. I've found I can squeeze them in a little tighter. So I like to plant them on about an 8-inch spacing. And I'll stagger this row from this row to get a nice even go of it here. So I'll put these about 8 inches apart along one side of the tape here. And we don't have to cover them up too much. And then on the second part of the double row, I'll put it in between these 2 plants on this part of the double row. So I'll put one here, and I'll put one here, and kind of stagger them along there, and give me a nice spacing, give these heads plenty of room to fill out, but also close enough so when they do fill out, it covers this whole area right here. Well, that took a minute, but we got 5 double rows of lettuce planted there. I held off on these 2 end rows here, so I had 7 rows of drip tape put down. I think I'm gonna just bookend this plot with radishes, plant some radishes on that end and on this other end over here. So we've got our Cherokee lettuce right here, and then we've got our Coastal Star Romaine, we've got our Skyphos Butterhead, we've got our Tehama Spring Crisp, and then we've got our Harmony green Butterhead. So we'll have plenty of lettuce from this plot here, all different kinds and several different colors there. And the good thing about growing lettuce this time of year, just like I was talking about on the previous video with the cabbage, is that it holds well. So it's not going to bolt because the temperature is going to be fairly cool, and we don't have to harvest it all at one time. We can harvest a little bit at a time and it'll be just right. Lettuce, of all the things we transplant in the garden, lettuce is probably one of the easiest. It just takes off pretty quick. There's not a whole lot of transplant shock when it comes to lettuce. As long as we run that drip and give it plenty of water initially, usually takes off pretty quick. Another thing I like about growing lettuce is we really don't have any pest problems with lettuce. I really don't spray it that often. Now if I've got some leftover spray mixed up in the tank, I'll spray it on the lettuce, but I really don't have to spray it with anything. Unlike some of our brassicas and stuff where we have worms or flea beetles or aphids eating on them, we really don't get any pests with the lettuce. So it's a really easy crop to grow as long as we keep it fed, give it some nitrogen here and there, and we'll do that through the drip tape and side dressing. So much like beets and kohlrabi, we'll succession plant lettuce throughout the entire cool growing season. So we planted some now, and then we'll be growing lettuce on through early spring, maybe even into late spring, depending on how warm it gets quickly there in April or so. So when we plant some lettuce in the ground like we did now, I'll go ahead and start some more in the greenhouse. And it usually takes 4 or 5 weeks for it to get ready. So that way when this lettuce is getting ready to be harvested, I've got more going in the ground, and we can have a steady supply of lettuce all throughout these cooler months. I'll put some links below for our seed starting trays, any of the tools we used in this video, and these pelleted lettuce varieties that we planted today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give us a big thumbs up, a big like, and a big share, and we'll see you next time.